Hi,
Okay.
Gali.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How are you doing?
Very good. Welcome back. I can't believe a week has gone by. Hi, everyone that's on. If you can hear us,
Yes,
see us,
Moise. I
let
can
us
see
know.
Anna here and Moise here.
Hi, hi. Okay, I'm not seeing all the comments, but I did see Anna's, so hi. And yeah, let us know that you're on. Today's going to be an amazing topic. What's that?
How is the quality?
Yeah, how's the quality? Yeah,
Hi,
exactly. Let
Monica.
us know.
Hi, Shaked. Can you hear us well?
Hi, guys. Aideen says loud and clear. Excellent.
Yes, Adin. Good. Excellent.
Okay, so let's jump right in because this is a topic that I actually was thinking about it, and you don't talk that much about the fact that you were in the submarines for years in a basically the Israeli Navy SEALs almost, and not just in the submarines, but a diver in the submarines, meaning and you'll talk about it, but you would be in massive depths and dive outside of the submarine to fix it and dive back in and control. I mean, tell us about your submarine career because that is a not everyone does that. It's super
It was
elite. It was easy. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
uh,
A
it
breeze.
well, actually, it was an amazing experience. I was about 6 years in the submarines. So and I got technically to the highest level you can get technically there. So I know submarines very well, and I've done different jobs there. Um, and At the time, our specific submarine was from the Gal class, like your name.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
was the Gal class. It was a 50-meter submarine. The diameter was 10 meter. It could dive to 200 meter, tested, I think, to about 250 or 300 meter, and the crash depth was 400 meter. That was the calculated crash depth. We didn't check
What
it.
does that mean? Yeah. What's crash depth? The crash as in crash or crash as in crush to crush something?
Collapse, yes, it's collapse. So,
Collapse.
so
Oh, crush.
generally, let me draw this. So, if this is a submarine, how a submarine work? A submarine has a body, okay, and
Yeah.
this is a body that can take the strain of the water, the pressure, okay, and
Yeah.
it has some kind of a door to go in and out. And here there is some kind of an area where the periscopes come out and snorkel and some other things. Then it has another two or four um, tanks that actually are open at the bottom, and there's a valve here. There's a valve here. So when you want to dive, what you do, you open those valves. Oops, sorry.
Mhm.
You open those valves, and what's happened is seawater comes in, and the submarine become heavier, and then you close those valves, and the submarine actually sink. So diving is actually controlled sinking.
Oh, wow.
So you
Amazing.
put water in, and then there is inside the body of the submarine there is more water uh, tanks that you can put water in and out by pumps, and you control like that. You basically balance the submarine within the water. Okay.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. Okay.
So this is generally. Then of course there is a propeller
Yeah.
that push the submarine, and there are some flaps here that you can put them up or down and cause the submarine to go up or down. Okay, so this is the general thing.
Amazing.
So this body of the submarine is tested to for 300 meter, or that specific submarine is 300 meter.
Which is
The
about
biggest
650 feet. Yes.
it's about, I think 300 meters, about 900, 1,000 feet or something like that, not times three
Oh,
or
times
divide.
three. You're right. You're right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right. You're right. Times three. You're right. So almost
Uh,
1,000 feet. Yes.
Yeah. So, and on the other hand, let's say the biggest or the most advanced submarine that military submarine of the U.S. They talking about diving depth of about 900 meters. This is creating a pressure, water pressure, that equivalent to the Empire State Building times two on the submarine at 900 meters. So it's about three
Wow.
times. Okay, so
Wow.
when we talk about submarines that go lower, deeper than that, those are generally not a military submarine; they're more research submarine. And so 4,000 meter, which is where the Titanic is, it's about 3,500, 4,000 meter, is about four times. So it is 8 Empire State Buildings weight
All on
on the
this one unit.
all on this one unit. So it's
Wow.
obviously the body there has to be really, really strong. Okay.
Yes. Amazing.
So when we're talking about submarines, we talking about basically what holds the pressure is this body. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Generally, a submarine is built from some kind of a metal, other um, a different kind of metal that you build it from. Okay, for
Hmm.
different reasons, and every time that you dive, the metal get compressed, and actually inside the submarine, doors cannot open. Panels cannot open, and you can hear everything going. You can actually hear the pressure of the water. Yes,
Wow.
it's quite insane.
Yeah.
You hear everything gets squashed,
So a
and
door that could previously open, like on your just earlier you were walking through it, now you're diving and the door is just stuck because it's being
you
squashed.
cannot open it. It's just gets squashed, especially on the floor. The floor is built from many small doors that allow you to access to all kind of valves. And those doors, those small panels, cannot open. It's like really impossible to open them. It's hard to open them because, and they are planned to be open under pressure. But when you go to like 200 meter, 250,
Wow.
and
So what happens if you have to open them? Let's say there's a situation at 200 meters. Now what? And you
you
have
do
to
it,
open something.
you have a lever, you have a tool to help you, or
I
you
see.
just use a lot of force.
Okay, so it can open, but it's like ridiculously hard.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. That's wild.
Okay. So this is generally a submarine, and submarine can be powered by, generally there is two classes of submarine: diesel submarines and nuclear submarine. Diesel submarine basically have a diesel engine that charge the batteries. So every few hours, every 10 or 20 hours, depends on the type of batteries that you are using, and sometimes more. You go to 10 meter, which is periscopic depth. You take out a snorkel. The
Hmm.
snorkel take air into the submarine, give the air to the diesel engine. The diesel engine works, charge the batteries, and once the batteries are charged, you take the snorkel down, seal that opening, and dive again and work. And you're operating a battery, a electrical engine. Okay.
I see.
A nuclear submarine, of course, is something else because a nuclear reactor do not need air. It actually can create air and so on. Okay,
Oh,
so this
amazing.
is the basic on submarines. Very very basic.
One quick question out of curiosity. Speaking of air, how do you how where is all the air kept that the people inside don't run out of air?
Okay,
What
so
how does that
because there's big space,
Hmm.
what is a few things. First of all, there is a system of cleaning CO2.
Yeah.
So there's all kind of filters that cleaning the CO2. Of course, you need for that batteries. You need the power source.
Hmm.
And generally, in the older submarines that worked with the lead acid batteries, the older the battery got, the more helium it release. Uh,
Hmm.
Not helium. How do you call it? Hydrogen. And
Oh,
hydrogen and hydrogen is explosive at 4%. So if you get 4% concentration of hydrogen, it will explode. So that's
Wow.
the main thing that you worried about more than air for breathing, because air for breathing, you have a problem only if the batteries are gone, if you have water that destroy the battery or something happened to the battery. So if you
I
don't
see.
have a power source, then the air become a problem. Okay.
Wow. I think two things. Firstly, I want to say, I think would it be true to say that when you were in the submarines, it was significantly more dangerous than the technology of today? I mean,
Um, I think that probably it was because obviously technology improved. Uh, I think that it's correct. There was a lot of thing manual. Nothing was controlled by computer.
there were
Everything
no
was manual.
iPhones, no
Yeah.
iPads.
No, there was like that no one heard about it. So, for example, we had the GPS system that was top secret.
Oh, that like no
GPS,
other country had?
not no other country had, but it was top secret that we could operate GPS from within the submarine, and it was not a technology that was available to the usual person in the street. It was only army technology, only
Oh, wow.
military technology.
I see.
And we had up to today the electronic countermeasure of the Israeli submarines are top secret. Even the thing that we used then was about 10 years ahead of anyone else.
So
So
electronic countermeasures, meaning the electronic tools that protect the submarine from external attacks?
it's actually composed of a few parts. First of all, is it allows you to take a periscope out and in 1 second to know all the ships and airplanes and missiles and everything that goes on outside the submarine in a millisecond.
Oh,
Uh,
really? So what,
can
it would
take the
just poke outside the water and poke back in and it knows everything?
periscope out and put it in, and you know everything that's happened outside, and you can, based on that, you have direction, you have distance, you have all kind of thing, and based on that you can send a torpedo, for example, without actually doing anything. It's just a second. Where in older submarine you needed to take out the periscope, watch the ship, take a distance, estimate, take the direction, estimate the distance, and maybe wait to see what's happening, to
Yeah.
get the other ship moving a little bit, and then do calculation. So there was all kind of methods to find the distance and the direction. And here you can take a periscope for 1 second, put it in, and you have everything.
Wow.
So, and the ability to recognize hundreds of targets in a second.
Wow. I see. And so at that time, even it was like 10 years advanced, and there's still tools like
Yes,
that today that
for sure.
nobody has. Yeah.
And we had obviously all kind of other tools like ability to send missiles, all kind of things that other countries did not have with this kind of submarines. So so it was
Wow.
very, very, very advanced and definitely more dangerous than usual.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And so the second thing I was going to say, speaking of that, was regarding the air question I had. That was the headline for the longest time, was they have 96 hours of air. That was in terms of the Titanic submarine. So that's
Yeah.
also what but we'll get to that in a sec.
Yeah, because they had so you've got two problems. You have a problem of oxygen,
Mhm.
and you have a problem of CO2 that you take out, and
Yeah.
this is really the problem in a big submarine like that. The size is so big that the CO2 is more problematic than the oxygen, and the oxygen you get generally from going to periscopic depth, taking the snorkel out, operating the diesel engine. The diesel engine, you block it for a second. The diesel engine suck all the air from the submarine, and you open the snorkel, and whole new air comes in.
Oh,
So
really? Wow.
yeah, so
Okay.
you close the snorkel, the diesel engine suck the air from the submarine, open, you get air. Do it a few times and you feel it in your ears that the air gets sucked of the submarine. So all the bad air gets sucked from the submarine and you get new fresh air from the outside in seconds.
Wow. Wow. Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
By the way, for anybody watching, at the end, at the end of this live, just before we end, I want you to tell the funny story in terms of the suction of air. We have to end on that note, but
Okay.
we'll get there. That's just going to be a funny, amazing story. But okay, so back to what you were saying. You were on a train of thought about the submarines.
Okay. So really, this is a normal submarine. Now, what's happening with this submarine that just disappeared?
Yeah,
The situation there is it's a little bit different. First of all, the submarine is very short and very small.
yeah,
So the bigger the submarine, the bigger the diameter, the stronger the material need to be. And
yeah,
the smaller it is, the easier is to create something that can hold a very hard, very strong pressure, so it can go very deep. Okay.
yeah,
And the technology that they've used is some kind of a carbon fiber technology with some other metal and some
yes,
glass. And the theory is that the body of the submarine, this area that hold all the pressure. So if I'll go back to the drawing, so if this is the body of the submarine, this is the glass, and here they've got some kind of a propeller, let's say.
mhm,
So this is the submarine. So the general idea there was there's an opening here. You open the whole front. People comes in, sitting here, 5 people, and you close it from the outside. You close it with screws from the outside. You seal it with screws, and it's not a problem because the deeper you dive, the more pressure there is, and the stronger is the seal here because the pressure caused the seal to go stronger. Okay, and the
right.
theory is that the submarine got to a depth that was more than it can take, and it collapsed. Okay,
Yes.
that's the theory.
Hmm.
I don't buy it.
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
actually happened.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. Because that's
Yeah,
definitely, I've seen all the videos that explain that.
I know.
So, yeah.
I don't think that's what happened. First of all,
Hmm.
if that would happen, let's say that you have a collapse in somewhere here.
Yeah.
Wherever the collapse will be, there will be a total implosion in, okay?
Hmm.
The submarine will crash and break. So you will not have many, many, many pieces.
Mm,
You'll have
I see.
few pieces. That's number one.
Yeah.
Any submarine that collapsed, it didn't collapse to 50,000 pieces.
I
It
see.
collapsed to 2, 3 pieces. Yes?
Hmm. Yeah.
Generally two. Where it collapse, and where it collapse it will break and it will separate. So in few seconds, in less than a second, everyone will die because of the pressure of the water, the rushing of the water in, but it will not collapse to many pieces. Okay, that's number one.
Yes. That makes, I can see that 100%. Yeah.
Yes.
I
So
actually, funny enough, I saw just leading up to this, I saw a video of that they showed online, an example of different types of cylinders, different types of metals collapsing due to pressure. And yeah, they just collapse. It's like a Coke can. Like, if you take a can of Coke, when you finish and you squeeze it, it doesn't break, it just compresses on itself, but it
yeah.
doesn't
Here it
disintegrate.
will. So here it will definitely break to two pieces,
Yeah,
but not to 100 pieces, not too
right.
many pieces. Unless if there was some kind of a tempering, if there was some kind of a small explosion that created a crack. And now if you have a crack that is bigger than it, that is not just a collapse, now it will break to few pieces because you
Okay,
compromise the body.
I see.
Here, only one part got compromised, only the weak point got compromised. But if I created an explosion, there will be a few places that will collapse. So water will rush in. Now there will be unbalance in the body. It will not be just the weaker point. There will be unbalance in the body. This thing will collapse. This will grow up, and there will be actual disintegration of the machine.
I see. I see.
And I the owner of this of the submarine was inside. If there was any kind of option that this thing could collapse, he would not be in.
Mm-hmm.
He was
Mm-hmm.
not a stupid guy. He knew what he's doing.
Yeah.
When there was any kind of dangerous situation in the past, he canceled the trips.
Mm-hmm.
So now take that into account and take the people that were there, very high profile individuals, and I don't see that this is an accident.
Interesting. So, yeah. So it was a planned attack to.
This is, of course, my opinion. Yes,
Yeah.
my opinion was that it is someone tempered with the system, so it will collapse.
Mm-hmm.
And otherwise, I don't see. The submarines don't collapse by going to the depth that they are planned to go.
Right. I see.
Submarine to collapse, it needs to go way below the depth that they plan to go. And they say now, people say, no, but this thing was planned only for what 3,500 and not for 4,000. Even if it was planned for 4,000, there's always extra. You don't plan for 4,000 and go for 4,000. It
I
doesn't work like that. And so my opinion is there is something that do not make sense.
Interesting. So you think that it was basically, first of all, if it would have been planned for 4,000, it could go to 4,000, it would have been planned for 4,500. Number one. Number
Yes,
two, if it was a crack, it would have just fallen on itself.
yeah, it will
Yeah.
break to two pieces, not too many pieces.
Right.
And also, um, the when a submarine collapse, there will be very specific sound that it makes. Very specific sound. So the sonar that the U.S. Navy have around will not collapse when they hear it. They will not need 3 days to figure out what's happened.
I see. So in other
They
words, there were for sure. Yeah. So in other words, while they were going down, they weren't just on their own. There was whole teams on land and above water monitoring everything with that submarine going down. So there would have been indications. There would have been.
No, the U.S. Navy has a sonar system that designed to follow up a submarine and to make sure to follow up any kind of noise in the water. And by that, it's like a radars that normal country has,
Yeah.
but it's just an underwater radar. So it
Yeah.
tells you who is coming, who is going, what's going on. Yes. A collapse of a submarine is a very distinct sound that any person that trained in using sonar will tell you that's a collapse of the submarine. Yes. This submarine is relatively small. If it will just collapse, assuming that they will hear what happened, they will know that it's a collapse of submarine. It's a very distinct sound.
I see.
Look, a sonar system can tell you. A sonar person can listen to the sound in the water and can tell you which ship it is based on the noise that a specific propeller doing. It's like every propeller have a sonar signature. It's like
I see.
a fingerprint. There's not two propellers that are the same. Even if
Oh,
they
wow.
use at the same place, at the same everything, that you can say this propeller is for this kind of ship, and this is the actual one. Like you can identify it. Yes.
I see.
So if a submarine collapses on itself, it's a very, very distinct sound that any person that knowing sonar will recognize it. So if
Because
that would happen and they heard that, they will tell you within the first second, look, the submarine has collapsed. There's a collapsed submarine here. There's no question.
I
They
see.
wouldn't need to wait and this and that and that. They waited because what they heard was something else. that eventually translated into a collapse. So they probably heard an explosion or some other thing that created this crack, which came together with the sound of a collapsed submarine. And that's why they were not so sure at the beginning of what's happening. And that's why
I
it took
see.
so much time.
I see. Because yeah, interesting. Because
And it's not a crash into something. Submarine don't, even if submarine crash into the floor of the ocean, that's nothing going to happen. It's the impact of crashing, because you're going very slow. It's very gentle actually. So
mhm,
we had a situation in the Israeli Navy that one of the submarine by mistake hit the bottom, and there was some minor damage, but nothing happened. There was some
mm,
minor damage. There was some cracks that you could see with X-ray, but it didn't really do any real damage. The submarine kept on servicing for another 15 years, I think, or 20 years after that.
wow. So because you're that's based on Anita's question, what if the current
Yeah,
crashed them, pushed them into the Titanic and they crashed? What if they were down there and it pushed them into a sharp metal piece of the Titanic or I don't know what?
because the mass in the water and the speed that they're going at is like nothing. It's,
Mm,
they
I
were
see.
going at, I don't know, probably I'm estimating 2 3 knots top speed.
I see. Okay, so when back to the noises, the Navy had said or something that they had heard banging noises, right? There was this whole thing in the articles about banging noises.
Yes, so these banging noises is another thing. If there was banging noises, if there was every 30 minutes, this is just a code that every 30 minutes you have like a small hammer and you knock in a specific way. If it was there, if someone did hear it, they will immediately continue to hear it every 30 minutes,
Hmm.
more or less. Let's say the guys are there, not 30 minutes, and they will know
Yeah,
where it's coming from, and it will take an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours to find the location.
I
So
see.
this sound to me more like fake news. Maybe they heard some, because there's a lot of noise in the sea. Like
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say also.
some human created banging noise is very distinct. It's not a maybe.
Yeah, I see.
And it's not like tick tick. There is an actual message that you sending every
Hmm.
30 minutes. And I don't think that there was something that was human generated.
Hmm. I see. I see. Okay, because also the
Otherwise,
operator would have.
directly into that source, they will bring all the everyone to that source. They will look there. They will immediately send down some kind of a small submarine to check. They will communicate back to them. They will no.
Yeah, yeah, I see. Amazing. Okay, and Arjuna said, for the owner, he's constantly bombarded with, here are all the problems. And when you ask for solutions, it's always money. At what point is the owners knowing that this is a safe submarine wrong and the naysayers right, especially with 40 trips, no problem?
Yeah, I'm 100% sure that the problem was not technical.
Okay, so we've established, so that's where what we're establishing. It's not a technical thing here.
It's not a technical issue, um, and a submarine that every submarine will get weaker and weaker and weaker uh, after some every dives. Like so, for example, the Israeli submarines, once a year you take them totally out, or once every so many years you take them out, and they do a whole X-ray on the whole submarine to find if there's any minor uh, um, cracks and whatever. And it doesn't mean anything other than, okay, we know that there are cracks, and so we will not push it to 300 meter. So we'll
Mhm.
try not to go to 200 meter unless if it is really war. But if it is, we'll go.
Yeah.
It's not
I see.
it's not as serious as people say. I don't think that the problem was a problem of the material, and while it is a novel method how they build that specific submarine, it's not the first time that submarine was built like that, and that method has been tested in many different other situations. So
Right.
I think it is more noise that been generated just to make it legit that there was a technical problem to strengthen the official narrative. That's
I
what
see.
I.
Okay, so in the interest of time, what does this mean? What can we learn from this? Who did this? What's okay? So somebody wanted to kill the owner and the billionaires. There's a group. There was some decision around it. Is there any more to that, or it's like okay, that's what happened, and that's pretty much it?
So the first thing to understand is that when something do not make sense, there's something you don't know. It
Hmm.
doesn't make sense that someone will go, um, an engineer, someone that really have a lot of experience in exploration, and don't really have and deal with billionaires, and don't have really a problem. Money was not really the issue, uh, and will go into a submarine that he will think that there is 1% chance that it will collapse.
Right.
So if something do not make sense, if there is something that do not make sense, don't justify it, don't explain it, just
Hmm.
know that it's something you don't know.
Right. Right.
It doesn't make sense if your husband come home late at night. The explanation is not the truth.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
It doesn't make sense because it doesn't usually doesn't come home, and all of a sudden today he had to go and do blah blah blah. I don't know what's the story. Don't buy it.
Yeah.
Something
I see.
doesn't add up.
Yeah. I see. I see. 100% important. That's a vital principle.
So the first thing is, if something do not make sense, if something do not add up, it will lead to an actual situation. And if you will actually investigate the situation, don't buy the general narrative. If you be willing to look, you will find that there is some kind of something incredible, and the
Hmm.
incredible is not believable. How
Right.
do you hide a lie? You make it so incredible that no one will believe it. What?
Yeah.
We burning 6 million people? Come on, this is nonsense. People will
Yeah.
not believe it. No one will build a machine to a whole system to burn people. So even if someone will tell you before the the Holocaust becomes something well known, that Germany, the very advanced country, because the very advanced country, Germany was very advanced, is actually burning people. They would say, "Come on, this is nonsense." Nah,
Yeah. Right.
because if
100%.
you want to hide something, make the lie incredible. They will not believe it. Oh, do you want to tell me that the head of MI6 is a Russian spy? Yes, the head of MI6 was a Russian spy.
Hmm.
Because it was unbelievable, MI6, and this is a true story, developed a belief that the Russians have a sense for Russia for British spies, not American, only British.
The Russians really knew the British. They had a sixth sense for them.
But
Yeah.
obviously, something do not make sense. So obviously, there is a big lie. Oh, what
Hmm.
do you mean? The government that's supposed to help us poison us? Oh, it cannot be. Well, if you see something that do not make sense, believe me, something incredible. I'm not saying something small. Once you start to follow up what's actually happening, you will discover the incredible. And most people cannot confront the incredible, so they invent some, they buy some kind of a story. Oh, it just collapsed.
Hmm. Hmm.
No, there is something else.
Amazing.
Oh no, this is something else.
Amazing. And does it matter who would do it, why they would do it, or it's irrelevant at the moment?
At the moment, the who, why, etc., is not really important. But what you need to know that there is something that more than meets the eyes,
Yeah.
because it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that these billionaires will go into a box that they didn't check if it's actually safe.
Yeah.
I mean, before they step into this submarine, believe me, they've checked it 50 billion times.
Right.
Yes, and they knew that it's dangerous, but not from collapsing.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
collapse was the last thing that went through their head.
I see. So what, just
Maybe
as an example,
they did.
what, say again?
I said collapse is the last thing that went through the head until it collapsed and it really went through the head.
Ay, ay, ay. Terrible. Terrible. Too soon. Too soon. Too soon. I was going to ask, so what would it be, just a quick thing, what would be a danger that would have been one of their calculated risk type dangers? What is another danger, if not collapse? In my mind, if I'm getting into a submarine, option A, it collapses. Option B,
It's the
I
last thing.
lose.
Like for me in the submarine as a submariner, the last thing I'm worried about is that.
I
Like
see.
in like if I'm in the submarine, I will think about other things. Let's say in our submarine, let's say the hydraulic system failed, human error that locked the steering flaps that caused the submarine to go in. I will think about water, one of the valves that it's weak point collapse and water comes in and you cannot stop it. I will think about losing the ability to take the air out of these diving tanks so you cannot go up. I will think about this kind of thing.
Okay, and for them, for a smaller submarine?
The same thing apply for a smaller submarine. I will think about human error. That's what I would worry about. I will think about human error, faulty with one of the valves. They obviously had a method to sink and go up, which is taking the water in and out. I would think about this kind of a problem. This is the sensitive things, and this is a small submarine, so they didn't have many backups. In our submarine, everything had at least two backups.
I
Everything
see.
had at least, usually three, four.
I see. Okay,
So
so in reality, and even if those dangers that you just listed happened, the result wouldn't be a disintegrated submarine. So
now
any possible danger was that they could.
go they needed to go down in such a way that they could not stop the descent. And so if they would tell me that they disintegrated at 5,000 feet, 6,000 feet, I would say, okay, that makes sense.
Mhm.
But the Titanic, it's at 3,500 feet and they disintegrated at 3,500 feet. Come on, no. Nah. Doesn't make sense. I'm sorry.
I see. Amazing. Amazing. Wow. Okay. So I
Any
mean, it's 39.
thing?
Yeah.
Let's
I
look at
just
the
want
question.
to say we're running low on time, which is amazing. But let's see. Moich was saying cannot use the chat, but you figured it out, Moich, I see. So that's all good. William said, did you find it strange that most of the story came from James Cameron, a famous guy investigated the incident on the couch? Yeah, you know James Cameron, who is the director of the Titanic, the movie The Titanic.
Yeah.
Margaret asked who would have sabotaged it, which we sort of covered.
Yeah.
You know, unless there was more you wanted to say on that.
I wouldn't say who will sabotage it because it's really sensitive to blame someone without actually having the other person being here and giving his side. But I
Mhm.
will say that, in my opinion, in my mind, there is zero doubt that this thing is not an accident.
Yeah,
It's not an accident.
yeah, I can feel it fully. Okay. Lior said, I saw a video of how the Simpsons predicted the collapse of the submarine. This isn't the first time they predict it. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, have you seen that? That the Simpsons, you know the show The Simpsons?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's many situations that happen where the Simpsons years before will do a cartoon of the exact thing happening.
Okay.
So yeah, interesting. Um, and yeah, I saw a lot of the others that came in. Thank you for all the comments, but generally we covered a lot. There was a lot of wows, a lot of oh my god, that's scary, a lot of feedback. And then Anita said, if the power shorted and the battery stopped, it would be scary. Perhaps the black box recordings will show something. I read that the
This,
CEO was offering discounts. Huh?
there's no black box recording.
Yeah, I figured so. And you don't have that on any type of submarines?
I don't know if any type of submarine, but in that submarine for sure there is no black box recording.
Okay, yeah. Okay, good. And she said, I read the CEO was offering discounts on the trip as people were backing out, and one man was worried about substandard parts he saw. Okay, could be.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, yeah. But the result of what actually happened, and the other thing we didn't even touch upon is the fact that the media made it the number one focus for the entire week.
Yeah, now that's a very interesting thing because in that week lots of other things happened that
Yes.
disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Exactly.
so as I said, this thing happened not by mistake. It didn't happen by mistake. It's not an accident. And the mainstream media, if you look, and I think most of the media, didn't even have the option to say that, is it maybe not a technical problem? It wasn't even an option.
Right.
Now, in anything like that, if I will investigate a submarine disappearance, I will take into account all the options. But the media decided and brought expert that says that this is the only way, and only way. No, if someone tried to tell you that this is the only way, only way, believe me, it's not the way.
For sure. For sure. It's just classic media, classic narrative. Okay, amazing. Great. I mean, look, we're running out of time, but I do want to touch upon that story that I mentioned that you should tell. Before we talk about that, we have a seminar tomorrow. You're delivering a very amazing seminar. We had
Yes.
one. We had one last week. That was you did it. It was just unbelievable. The replay is available. Maybe you can put it on the screen. If you the link, sorry, I meant if you can put the link on the screen because last
Yes.
week Wednesday there was a seminar online, super powerful. The replay is available for free. Yeah, actually, what it is, it's gprosperity.com/past lives. That's
Ah,
actually where you can find it. So fine, you could take it off the screen, but gprosperity.com/past lives. If you go there, there's an amazing 2 hour session that's up for free. It's like gold sitting on the site that you can watch. And then there's another one tomorrow. Can you talk about that?
yes, not the one with the NASA chef, the other one.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Go
So
there.
will just maybe a second about these past lives and the body seminar. And the basic idea that I'm uh, teaching is the past life, and why is it important to understand past lives, if they are or if they are not, and how is that all connected to the body. And the general idea is your body is deteriorating. Your body is deteriorating in a certain rate. And the problem is not that it's deteriorating because it's just a machine. The problem is that most people think that since the body get old, they're getting old. They feel
Mm,
they're deteriorating. So there is
amazing.
a total identification between the spirit and the body. Most people, if you ask them first time before they met me or before they looked at that, you ask them who you are, and they tell you, I'm me, and they will show the body. They
Mm,
really think that they are their bodies. So if something happened to the body, they think something happened to them.
Right.
So every scratch, everything that the body feel is so major. So they become really slaves to the body. They serving the body instead of the body serving them. It's totally
Right.
ridiculous. And the reason this thing, all this thing happen, is actually has to do with your past.
Hmm.
Because for most people, most of the time, the past is the only present time.
Yeah, 100%. Your now is just all your attention on your past.
On the past, yes, everything is, all the attention is on the past, and when your attention is stuck on the past, you are insane. Insanity, my definition of the word insanity, is attention stuck on the past. And before you stop you getting your attention off the past, you will not be able to create future.
Yeah.
You will not actually have a life. You'll try not to die, you'll be careful, you'll do a lot of things, but you will not be able to live.
Yes.
The reason people are not successful, the reason people are not doing well, the reason people are getting more and more and more crazy is because they're programmed to get to be stuck in the past. So past life, yes, or past life, no, is not really important. What important is that if we do handle past life, and let's say that it's not true even, but if we do handle past life, what happened? You get a life.
Yeah. You actually live.
Before that, yes, you start to live. And before that, people really are worried about is the past life or not. And while they worry about it, they don't have the current life. So the
Mhm.
purpose of handling past life is so you get current life. Because you
Amazing.
are not alive if your attention is in the past.
Yes.
Because you're looking backward and moving forward. Obviously, you will hit walls.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think
So,
part of the repercussions of you've handled the past lives wonderful, but also when you do that and you live, just you are there, it's amazing, but also your body condition improves as well. So people that have health issues, people that are in this situation where they can't control their body, people struggle to wake up in the morning, then to go to sleep. They also don't have any actual control of their even their body.
yeah, yeah,
So
it's,
how
it's
does that connect? Because I know it's body and past lives. So how does it, where does it give you that ability to actually control the body? What's an example of that?
the body is controlled by the spirit. And it's not because I'm Israeli and I'm saying spirits. I'm actually
Mhm.
meaning many.
Oh, so spirits, plural.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And each one of those spirits have past lives. And when they are not in good state, they're damaging the body. So you really need to handle yourself as a spirit, and you need to handle the spirits that run the body. And only if you do that, your body will perform. And otherwise, your body will deteriorate and deteriorate and deteriorate and deteriorate.
Amazing.
And you will think that, and you will agree that your state of mind will define your state or the condition of everything around you. And your mind is actually not your mind, is actually the mind of all those spirits that you are handling. Because if
Deep.
it was your mind, it would be easy because what's yours, you control. But obviously, you're not controlling it. So it's not really your mind. You are carrying it, but it's not your mind. You're
Wow.
agreeing to it, but it's not your mind.
Wow.
So the reason people cannot change their state of mind because the mind is not their own.
Hmm. Exactly.
So when you handle past lives, you actually get rid of the limitations that prevents you from controlling this mind and actually not needing the mind. So you get rid of the mind. So you will not have a state of mind. You will have what you want.
Amazing. Super powerful. Very well explained. Yeah. Lior said, I can't wait for tomorrow. Margaret said, I saw part one and it was really, really amazing. Watch it. And then part two. We had a Facebook user, so happy I'm able to join. John said, I'm so looking forward to the webinar and great conversation today. Aideen, so powerful. Tressa, wow. Yes. So gprosperity.com/past lives. Watch the replay. And then you can also register for tomorrow's webinar.
Yep.
Okay,
Okay.
amazing. So tell us, wait, before we go. Okay, so you're on the submarines, you're a bunch of elites, right? There's like, what, 3,000 people that start, 21 remain. Everybody there is intelligent.
Yeah, 4,000 people that started. The course is 2 years. We finished 21 after 2 years.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So 21 elites. These people are switched on. They're the best of the best, top of their
high
class.
IQ, tested and tested and tested, really smart, can physically very fit, mentally unbelievable, very smart. Everyone is technical, everyone at highest level of his profession, and also
And this,
very funny.
yeah, and then literally shit happens. So,
The
so
shit
tell
hits.
huh?
The shit hit the fan.
The
So
shit
okay,
hits the
so
fan. So
explain
tell us
what
the
happened.
story.
So the story is like that. So if
True
this is the
story.
submarine,
True story.
this is the body of the submarine. Yes,
And
this is
just
the
one quick thing, Abba. Sorry, just one thing. The picture is a little cut off, so you can make it full screen. You can, yeah. Okay.
Okay, so this is the submarine. Okay, and the toilet is built in the following way. There's a tank here. Okay, and the tank has a valve here that goes into the sea. This is where the sea is. This is the sea, and there is here on the top. You have the toilet where you sit on. And basically, what happened, you do what you do, and this thing goes into the tank. And there's some kind of a filter here to make sure that nothing goes up. And once per day, you go down to 200 meter and you seal this top. You seal the top. And you put pressure here. You put um, water at the pressure of, let's say, if you're at 200 meter, it means that you're at 21 atmosphere. So you put probably 25 atmosphere. Okay. So inside here, there's 25 atmosphere. Outside here, there's 20. Okay.
Okay. And just for anybody that might not understand, just simply, there's the pressure is literally like pressure being pushed in, right? So
Yeah. So
inside, there's way more pressure.
Here, there's a lot of pressure. And when you open the door, everything shoots out. And then it's like getting away from the submarine. And then seawater comes in, which is generally clean water. But the tank itself is disgusting. So it's really dirty, but not as dirty. And what you do now, you now need to empty in a controlled manner this tank that has a lot of shit in it. But you need to control it, release it, release the pressure, number one. So remove it from now 20 atmosphere, remove it to 1 atmosphere, which is the pressure within the submarine, normal pressure. You need to release it slowly, and then you release the pressure. You then take out the water, and it's empty again, and now you can use it again. But it is a very long process, and generally, the mechanics that do that don't like. They're doing it in midnight usually, and it takes a long time, and they don't like it. So they find different ways to bypass the system that protect this pressure from exploding out in order to release the water quickly. So they don't do it in stages, they bypass it. And in one of those times that they tried to bypass it, there was a lot of pressure here. Maybe I'm estimating like 10 atmosphere with a lot of shit. And they opened this door here back, and all the shit exploded all over the submarine. Now the guys that doing it, of course, he had shit under his eyelids. He was full with shit.
Because does he stand there? Does he stand right where?
He
Like,
said
is he in the area?
this whole thing exploded. It's all exploded on him. It's like he just, the fact that he didn't die from the pressure was uh, just because he was to the side, but the water with the shit and everything flown. So the whole submarine is thinking now, full with shit all over. Everything
Because
is
it just yeah, just for people to understand, it was supposed to go in an insane amount of pressure out into the ocean, and they messed it up, and it went in an insane amount of pressure into the submarine.
yeah. So it is like really, really, really bad and stinking and terrible. And so everyone, obviously it's midnight. Everyone, there's an emergency. Everyone come, and it's like it's disgusting, disgusting. There's shit all over. There's really shit all over,
More
and
than
of
just
course,
the toilet area.
yeah,
It was
no, because the toilet area is not really closed. It's like there is something, but it's not really closed. It's a submarine. Everything is, so it's all over. It's like it's all over. So we clean and clean and clean and clean, and this guy had the holes, the holes in his body, like the all the pores in his body were
yeah.
full with shit. It was like he had shit inside his mouth, inside his nose. It was he had shit all over. I mean, it was bad, bad, bad. Anyway, so we clean it, we clean it, we clean it, and I think we continue with this mission. It was another 2 or 3 weeks, and when you are in shit, you get used to it. So you clean and you don't smell it. But when we got back, uh, the smell was still there. It was still really, really, really bad, and they actually never managed to clean it and to take the smell totally out. It was the stinking submarine. I'd
Really, it just
say that it died.
really it just always remained
Always,
stinking.
it's always been stinking. It was very bad.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Margaret said everyone was totally pissed off with him. Yeah, did you guys want to just kill this guy? What was like
No, he
the
was dead
reaction?
already. I mean, he got his punishment immediately. I mean,
Oh my, that's something that like cannot happen almost anywhere in any situation except for like a submarine, I feel like
yes,
where else could that scenario ever take place
yeah.
besides in that circumstance?
It was really, really, really funny and really bad and dangerous. And because this is like this could end up really dangerous because they remove all the safety. So theoretically, they could open both side, the bottom that facing the sea, and the inside, and you will drown. They
Yeah,
will not be able to close it.
yeah.
There's no way to close it if both of them are open, and the submarine will drown.
Wow. So it was lucky that the one facing the ocean was still closed,
Still
but all the
closed. That he
pressure.
didn't open it. Yes, that he didn't open he didn't leave the bottom one open because everything has a safety, and they remove all the safety and all the sensors and everything in order to bypass it and to work quickly.
Wow, cutting corners. You're cutting corners. That's how shit happens.
Like really, yes.
Yeah. Wow. 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 Amazing. Well, thank you for that story. Thank you for today. It was just a cool conversation in general about just submarines and very interesting also about what happened with the Titan and what we can learn that it's not what it seems. It's important to actually observe, to not take things at face value, especially not from the media, and
Yeah,
to
when
look.
you see the key to understand, when you see something that do not make sense, there is never one thing. If you find one mistake, there is hundreds, and if you find one mistake, there is a big situation behind the mistake. A
Mhm.
person that make a mistake The problem is not the mistake. There's a situation. He has a massive misunderstanding that goes on forever. You
Yeah.
need to find the actual source of the problem. The mistake is just a billboard that says, look, there's a problem.
Hmm.
Most of the people don't want to see the billboard
Yeah.
because there's never one mistake. If you look at your life, when you find one mistake, if you will look, you'll find 100.
Yeah.
There is never one mistake. Never. One mistake always indicate to a big situation which generate all the time many mistakes.
Right. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Amazing and powerful. Thank
Yeah.
you, Abba. That was
I love
amazing. I love
Thank
you.
you.
Wow. It was really wow. Thank you, Margaret. And anyone that's on, join tomorrow. Free webinar, but
Yeah.
powerful about the
Super
body
power.
and past lives. gprosperity.com/past lives. Go there now, register so you get the reminders and everything.
Mwah. I love you,
Mwah.
Baba.
I love you. Bye, Abba. Mwah. Bye,
Bye.
everyone. Thank you.